welcome. I'm Grannon, and this is Bin Buster, where I buy, watch, review budget bin movies for you. Today is another day in our spooktacular October. I'm wearing the tuxedo t-shirt, and we're stepping into the zombie formats of horror movies today. Right here is the one by Danny Boyle, entitled, I'm going to grab it, make sure I knock nothing down, 28 Days Later. Right there. A deadly virus transforms humans into bloodthirsty, rage-filled zombies that leave a handful of survivors on the run for their lives. And as always, I'm going to give you my good, my bad, my thoughts, and the overall ratings on this movie. Good. I love the concept of this movie. I like the concept of the rage virus that's in here. It actually comes from monkeys. They're doing tests in monkeys in this lab, and they're trying to increase the rage hormone in them, and it's becoming bloodthirsty. So they find out that it's in their blood. So any drop of blood, any bite, any saliva will make these things spread like wildfire. A group is seen in the first part of the movie storming the test facility and releasing the monkeys that are infected with this rage virus because they think they're only being tested. Little did they know that they cause issues. And then the screen goes black and it says 28 days later. That's kind of cool. Then we see that Cillian Murphy's in a hospital bed. He's been in a coma since an accident because he's a document driver. He's a bicycle courier. We find out that he's been in a coma and he's been in this coma for a while now. And all of a sudden, after these 28 days, he wakes up. And there's no one around in the hospital. So he stumbles around. And that scene where you see him all by himself, trying to figure out what's going on. As he's walking there, goes on the city streets of London, is walking around. It's eerie. It's creepy. It's fantastic. You get a stark sense of his overall confusion. The city, as he wanders around, is completely abandoned. In this sequence, a car alarm goes off. It startled me. I wasn't expecting that. Even though I see the car there, I wasn't expecting that to happen. It startled me. Soon he is being chased by enraged humans. Some survivors rescue him from these ragers via Molotov cocktails. So, I mean, you're standing right there. You get this Molotov cocktail thrown at you. Okay. So everything he knows is gone. Jim is Cillian Murphy's character. Goes to his parents' house after he's been rescued for a couple days. Goes to his parents' house, and they see them in bed together, holding a picture of him as a kid. And we see on the nightstand an open bottle of pills with pills everywhere, and an almost gone bottle of wine. And the note on the back of the picture states something similar to this: Jim, we left you sleeping. We're sorry. Now we're all sleeping together. Love you. They killed themselves because they couldn't live without their son anymore. He wakes up to that. Overall, and it's just all the emotions you see on him and everything. It's so heart-wrenching, so gut-wrenching. You get out of a coma, you're expecting your life to be almost completely normal again. You're not expecting something like this to have happened when you were sleeping and you couldn't wake up. Yeah. When you were sleeping, the world goes to crap and there's a virus that spreads like wildfire. I kind of like the way this movie was shot. Seemed very low budget, and that made it a whole lot better. It kind of makes it like some of those found footage movies, but it's not necessarily found footage, but the way it was filmed made it ground in realism, at least in my opinion. And I like something like that. These zombies, quote unquote, are not your typical shambling zombies, like walking around like that. No. These guys sprint at you. Yeah. These are fast zombies. Why? Because they're on rage. They're raged out. They're completely bonkers. And all they want to do is either spit blood on you, kind of like the Alien Queen, kind of like that, spit blood on you, or bite you, so you become one of them. For what reason? It's what they do. So getting away from them makes it more difficult, and I love that. Whereas in regular zombie movies, they could run and the zombies are like, oh. When here, they're running, the zombies are keeping up right with them. So it makes it a lot scarier, and I enjoyed that. Seeing how one of them got infected was great. One of the survivors. Brendan Gleeson's character is a father. He has a small daughter. And Jim and Naomi go into... the actress is Naomi. What's her face? Oh, I forget her name. But anyways, they go in there and they're in this. It's all four of them. That's it. That's all they know. It's these four. He sees this bird chirping. He's like, "What are you doing, bird? What are you doing?" And then all of a sudden, this little droplet of blood goes right into his eye, and he starts raging out. Seeing how the aspect of rage, of someone raging out in this movie, paid dividends to me. I enjoyed it. Not only that, but waiting till it's more than halfway through the movie before we saw it, just makes it that whole scarier. That these guys have been surviving this entire time, and then one of them gets infected. And then he gets shot by military guys because they heard this recording to bring him there. I'm going to get to that in a moment. But before they get to those military men, the way they had fun in the grocery store was amazing. They go to an abandoned grocery store. They go in, they fill their carts up with food, and they're like enjoying themselves. And Brendan Gleeson's character puts his credit card on the counter just like that. That was kind of funny. So, now we get into my bads. None of the major characters I were invested in besides Jim. They're kind of one-sided as characters. But we know Frank has a daughter named Hannah. So we know that. And we know the other woman lost people too, but we don't dive into those stories. I wish they would have done that a little bit. Even the bonus features don't dive into it. So I wish I would have seen a little bit more on the other survivors and how they all got together to begin with. Yeah, that would have been awesome. The whole radio message, like I was saying with the military, they put out this radio message, say, "Oh, safety, safety, safety right here, sanctuary, sanctuary." It was a false message. It was a way to lure women into their military camp so they could be used as sexual slaves to repopulate the world. That's exactly what these military men did. These military men reminded me not of the disgruntled military men from The Rock, movie The Rock. But these guys remind me of mercenaries. Guys who just didn't care for the fellow human beings. We have needs. They're here. Why don't we just do this? The military men that are left alive become more of mercenaries. They throw their love of the country and their fellow men out the window. When Jim Selena, that was the other woman, show up, when Jim Selena and Hannah show up, they throw everything out the window. And what happens is Jim takes them and starts splitting up the army guys. They had one of their army guys infected, and they kept him on chain. So Jim releases that chain. He goes around everywhere. He rescues the ladies, and they all go. Eventually, he gets shot on the way out, and they all three go off. They save Jim. They're able to medically get the bullet out, patch him up. He's okay. Then we get to the final scene where they're sewing. Selena's sewing something, and they're sewing, and Jim comes in. They're here, and they grab whatever they're working on and run out the door. It's like a long trail of something, and then you see all three of them in the field doing something with it until you get that shot overhead as a plane flies by that says hello, and they're jumping up and down trying to get their attention. They made a sign out of cloth that says hello. That was amazing. And here it is, hope for them and for the future. That was 28 Days Later. Not your typical zombie film. I'll give you that. It's by Danny Boyle, the director of Trainspotting. I enjoyed this movie. Not a huge fan of Trainspotting, but I loved this movie. And I'm not big into horror films. I love this movie. It got me on the edge of my seat watching it, waiting for see what was next. I even watched all the alternate endings. One of the alternate endings was the same scene I described, but without Jim because he dies. The other alternate ending That was the one where it wasn't released. Theatrical one had a little bit more of how they rescued Jim. Yeah. But beyond that, that was pretty much it. Well, with this movie, you know what I'm giving it? 3 stars. It's a good movie. It's on my Halloween playlist, so this month. So, is it on yours? Sound off down below. What do you guys think of this movie? Also, tell me down below. In my opinion, this is one of my favorite zombie films. It's up there with Zombieland and Night of the Living Dead. Yes, it's up there. It's going to be a classic in its own right. Just give it some time. And as always, you like zombies, you don't like the brains, but you want them fast and racing for your life. They might be here. They might be coming in soon. Don't worry. Just wait 28 days. And 28 days later, will be available for you. Find it wherever you go searching for videos, whether it's Goodwill, Garage Sales, whatnot. If you find this, watch it, make it a movie night, and remember to dive right in.